think we are on.
Yes, you are.
Hello? Brother, boss, are you here?
I am here.
Okay, so I'm Skun, and I'm with Brother and Boss, my two mates today, to showcase you Celeste any percent awesome route variation, because everyone does 6B, but I don't. So we'll see a route that no one does at really top level, but that's like a tad slower. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's about like 10-15 seconds slower, just depending on the runner.
But
Yeah.
it's a lot more cooler.
6A is so much easier.
Yes. But yeah,
Yes, but 6Bs for Chads, which is why, you know, people like me do it. Unlucky Skun.
I'm lucky. But yeah, if you're good, Ness, I think we can start. Oh. Oh wait. And I already did it.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, well, then let's just change the name and I'll tell you when to start time. The time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Shut up.
Alright, are we having a prologue death?
No, we won't. But yeah, for now we're in prologue, which is chapter 0. We don't have our dash yet, so we're just jumping because each jump takes, I don't know, I've been told that it takes 2 frames, but it's more like 3.
It's
I
2
see.
frames, but like the main idea is like it adds 40 speed per jump.
Yeah. And you lose like less speed when you're in the air than on the ground. And at the end we just keep the cutscene that gives you a dash, and now we're in 3. So the dash is really powerful in this game because we can do what's called dash cancels, which is basically, well, dashing and cancelling your dash with a jump, and it maintains dash speed through the jump. And we're gonna abuse it to, well, get a lot of speed, as you can see.
Yeah, and something cool about the dash is that, like, especially if you do it in that sequence, normally if you dash and jump, you would lose your dash, but if you do it about 10 frames after your dash started, like if you jump 10 frames after, you actually retain your dash, so you can actually cover really long distances. And Skun is just going to use all of that to navigate through all the levels.
Yeah. Actually, it just gives your dash back if you're on ground because there's a cooldown. If you see me like doing wall bounce on walls, I don't get my dash back because obviously I'm not on ground when I'm on frame 10 of my dash.
Yeah, so chapter 1 is very technical, and most players at this level are able to get like a time that, like, obviously as a PB that is either 1 minute or sub 1, which is extremely good, but in full game, obviously that can't always happen. So right now Skun exiting with a 102 is actually pretty good for full game.
Yeah, only that room was pretty bad. Could have been a 1-1, but no big deal. And now we're in chapter 2, so it won't be as technical. We're gonna do mostly hyper dash, which is when I do a crouch dash and jump afterward. And also a lot of shield thrust, which is pretty much the same when you do a down diagonal dash, but your dash ends before you touch the ground. So you just like have to touch the ground after like 20 frames. And gives you a 1 point. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, chapter 2 has like also like the special gimmick behind it is the dream blocks, which basically you can dash through them, and once you come out of a dream block you can also jump out of them. You can also jump twice, which Skun does right here just to skip a big portion of that room and saves about a second. And also you can also dream hyper out of them, which is basically doing a hyper dash out of a dream block, because the way the game works is you are put into coyote frames, which basically means like it still counts you as grounded after leaving the ground, and in this case a dream block, for about 5 frames. And basically you can use that time to do a hyper out of the dream block, or even just jump.
we'll see like Dream Hypers. I mean, we saw one, but we'll see it more in the last chapter of the game. And I forgot to do Test Awake, damn it. No
Yes,
flex.
because you can do Test Awake.
I can do the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, Test Awake is a really hard strat. I mean, it also just starts with something that is practically human RNG, called the Delayed Ultra, which probably not the best idea to explain it in this in this setting for most people who like. You need a good understanding of the game's mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, since I'm on regrets, if we have time at the end of the run, I can just show Test Awake really quick. But anyway, we're done with all sides. And now we're in chapter 3. So here I try to do the room with the key in a special way that gives me a good key cycle. So you can explain key cycle because I'm not really good at explaining it, but...
Yeah, so key cycles are basically, for the key to open the door, the key has to be in a certain animation frame. The key has about, I think, if I remember correctly, 14 frames of animation, and it needs to be on a certain frame for it to open the door. And
I think it's 21.
oh, it's 21? Okay, so, but regardless, as the key spins around, it's going through the cycle, and once it gets closer to the door, and you see it starts moving towards the door, that animation speed triples, and the main idea is for the key to hit the door like as early as possible, but obviously within the key cycle, so that way you can save quite a bit of time. And generally it tends to save around 0.4, 0.5, depending on the exact frame you hit the door on of the key cycle, but it is a pretty good time save.
Yeah, whoa, boss. So now we're gonna clean up a bit this room, because as you can see, it's, well, messy. And why the subchapter is called Huge Mess. So Oshiro, which is the hotel manager, which we just talked to, basically told us that he's too lazy and Madeline is just too kind to refuse cleaning for him. So we're gonna need to clean all like books, chests, and towel in a certain order, which is the fastest one, obviously. So I'm just gonna do.
Yes, you can actually clean this in any order, but like as Skun mentioned, books, chests, and towels, which is basically bottom, top, middle.
I mean, it's chest, books, towel.
Yeah, chest, book, towel. Yeah, my bad. I did say bottom, top, middle, which is correct.
Yeah.
But regardless, that is the fastest order based on where Oshiro appears after completing each order, because basically once he comes out of books here, in a couple of rooms, you'll see that Oshiro will be like right next to him.
Yeah, right here.
And then he'll have like the entry to towels like also right next to him. So that's basically what the any percent route is ordered around. Other categories do use different routes though.
Yeah, especially if you need to. Yeah, go for it, boss.
One thing which I don't think was mentioned was death cycles. So like if you die in one of these rooms, because they're on a cycle, like the cycle will change. So like in some rooms, it'll be different like if you die than if you enter normally. So like you don't need to learn like every different cycle, but it is important for some rooms.
Yeah, you kind of just.
Did die.
Yeah, if you play a lot of. Oh my god, it works. You'll see when you look at there. But yeah, once you play a lot, you just like develop the cycle on your own, which is basically what I did. But yeah, I got really lucky here. I don't know how I got this one.
Oh, Skun basically almost paused there to, like, he paused just to retry because normally if you know that you're gonna die, it is faster to retry than to actually take the death, and that's something like runners have like into their muscle memory, like I don't know, ever since like they get like a sub 40 time, it's like very important to save every bit of time that you can. In fact, when you die, you also press confirm to reduce the amount of time on the death cutscene. So
yeah, you can see that on my input display. Every time I die, I press this shield, which is my crouch dash.
Yeah, but in this case also being counted as confirmed, because all you need to do is press confirm, not jump, not any other button.
I also press pause, but that's just because muscle memory. Fuck. I'm really choking the end. Speaking of the end, as you can see, you haven't noticed yet, Oshiro is really mad at us because Adeline, which is the purple girl we saw in Outside, was really mean with him, and for some reason Oshiro is mad and is mad at us and not at her. So he's just chasing us, but it's kind of slow, not gonna lie. So we just hitting
too fast.
And we are out of resorts.
Yeah, that last screen of resort is very long, and sometimes like taking one death means taking like 20 deaths because you get tilted and the death cycle is completely like just garbage. Yeah. It's terrible.
The death cycle is really slow, even if you know it. I mean, it's pretty much a fast, I guess, but I don't know if I just do jump through it.
Yeah, there's fast variations, but the death cycle is a lot harder. So now we're entering Ridge, which has like some of the the special mechanics are clouds, which basically they move down and up, and you can jump out, you can jump off them and get a big height boost. You can also do the previously mentioned techniques, super dashing and hyper dashing off of them.
Yeah.
Just to get extra distance, and also you have the wind, which most people hate, but it's actually not too bad once you actually get used to it and you're speedrunning. And the final mechanic is bubbles, which, as you see here, Skun basically does what's called a demo dash into a bubble, also known as an Archie, to increase his height by 2 pixels, and that allows him to basically avoid death in that previous room.
Yeah, we should say like demo dash is basically just a crouch dash. We haven't mentioned it yet.
How did we not mention it? And we went through chapter 3.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it when we did it in chapter 3 with spikes. But yeah.
And yeah, right here we have Skun doing the ceiling pop, which is the second fastest version of the strat, and it's probably like out of the fastest ones the most consistent, but it is a pretty difficult trick nonetheless, especially if you're just getting started. So, you know, props to him for getting it first try.
Yeah, first try, yeah, but I died in this room before.
Yeah, you died before in the room, but the ceiling pop itself is still first try.
Also, another mechanic we didn't talk about, but so it's pretty obvious, it's the moving block, which is just like, well, the blocks that move, you can take them like up or down, so it's like a button in it. But it's not like the most, well, it's the most common one in Ridge. It's still useful because as a removing platform, it just gives you a boost.
Yeah, also, I was waiting for this moment because right here, Skun actually does the safe strat, and I call him cringe all the time for it, and now is the time to do that, so yeah, you're cringe. And, you know, there is a faster strat that some people do pause, some people don't. Basically save 6 seconds, and you can get it, like, on second try, and there's also, like, a strat in between which saves, like, maybe, what, 0.3?
Yes.
0.3, yeah. Which is doing an ultra off the block, and it's not too bad. Skun still doesn't do it. Kind of sad, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm just doing the really baby strats. I could even just do an hyper from the block, which saves like maybe a few frames, but I don't know. I just do the block dash jump.
I mean, to be fair, taking a death in that room does lose like, what, 10 seconds? At like
11 if you die at the end.
Yeah, 11 if you die at the end, but like, from where you're doing it from, probably 10.
No, it's since it's 7 or 8 at this point, but still a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot. So, like if you take a death doing the blockless strat, which is the hard one, which has like a frame perfect window and two frame windows, that is a 4-second death.
And now we're in Temple, which has a really cool mechanic. Once again, moving blocks, but this time it moves with your dash. So it's gonna be really useful, as you can see, to get like big boost, but controlled. And also, I tried to fast cycle for some reason. And also red bubbles that this time like don't end after like 15 frames. It just ends when you dash out of it. So we're gonna use that for like big distance.
And also, something special to mention here is Skun's going to be doing 5B, and for those not haven't played the game, there are A sides and B sides. B sides are basically harder versions of the A side, especially on casual playthroughs. And in this situation, 5B is actually faster than doing the A side, simply because there are two tricks that basically skip a lot of the level, and the level just becomes so much shorter. And we will be seeing them quite soon.
Yeah, even
And
with
overall-
those tricks. Yeah, go for it.
Like overall, this saves like around 30 seconds at this level.
It really depends on your time. For me, it takes like 45, 50 because I'm really slow at the A side. But yeah, now that I have the K set, I'm just going in it. It's not faster in a lot of chapters, even though like these hard are often short because it depends on where the K set is. But in like the chapter 5, it's really early in the chapter. And 5B is honestly so much cooler to play.
Alright, well, going into 5B, there's a very important trick called Bob's Drop.
Yeah, maybe we'll
basically-
see it.
Skun's gonna go through a transition, and then he's gonna do a 2-frame jump or less, and fall back through the transition. What's gonna happen is the game will put him to the closest spawn point when he retries, which is at the end of the room.
Yeah, that's what we just saw. So here I got lucky because I jumped on the last possible frame. I mean, I really jumped on the last frame possible.
Very nice.
And it keeps going around in a lot of room, getting the key. It takes 22 seconds if you get it first try.
20 seconds, like, yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
big.
42 seconds for when I tried. And here I did another skip to get, because there's actually 2 keys that you're supposed to get in this section. But I did what's called a spike jump, so if you jump like the first frame, you reach spikes on the wall, you can wall jump out of it, because the game just ignores the spike. So it lets me, well, skip another bubble.
And also, these spike jumps aren't as scary as you might think, because the spikes can only kill you in the direction that that they're facing. So, if the spikes are pointing up and your direction of movement is up, the spikes cannot kill you. So in that situation, going for the spike jump is safe, and you can try it as many times as you want. But obviously, at this point, most runners can probably get it first or second try.
Yeah.
Mostly first try.
Yeah,
But
there are
it-
times where they can kill you, but you have to dash like on the frame you're passing them, because dashing sets your speed to 0 in freeze frames. But like that will be only in like where there's spikes going upwards.
Yeah, and even if I said it's frame perfect, this game has actually a cool thing that's called like buffering, where every dash or jump or you have like 5 frames before you can actually jump to buffer it. So it's like a 5 or 6 frame window, I never know. But
It's a
instead
5
of
frame
like a
window.
1. So it's like 0.1 instead of like a 60th of a second. And I'm really struggling with Seeker here that are like the enemies. Which can obviously one-shot you because everything one-shot you in this game, but as you saw, like, it gives you a boost if you like bong them and well, wait for them to respawn. And now I'm in TK chat room, so I'm doing a few dashes to save the frames because each time you dash in this game, everything freezes for 3 frames except the music. So even the timer and everything freezes. But the chat rooms are based on, well, music, like the cycle of the block. So if you dash, you save like, the cycle still goes even if the timer don't. Or doesn't, I should say.
Yes, and for every dash there is just saving 3 frames.
Which is basically a 3 times save at this point.
Yeah.
And now we're in 6A, really cool mechanic here that you see, which a lot of people say is better on controller, but wrong. Which is feathers that just lets you go in any direction. It's technically faster in analog, but old world records that includes feather are done on keyboard, so it's really not an issue. It's like relevant to CAD, but not RTA.
Yeah, basically the way the feathers work is that feather boosting is easier on keyboard because feather boosting is when you hold diagonal like as the feather starts and you get like a tiny little burst of speed. But aside from that, when you're like steering the feather, there's like for every amount of like angle you're steering, you're losing a little bit of speed. So basically the best way to steer a feather, if possible, because obviously there are spikes in the game and you have to steer around them. It's best to like steer like maybe at a 2-degree angle or something like that consistently, and that way you won't lose any speed. And in the case for a keyboard, which is why it's a little bit harder, you actually have to tap the arrow keys depending on what direction you want to steer towards.
Yeah. Compared to like playing controller or even just exclusively analog as Celeste does, which isn't the best idea honestly. Because like some people play analog, but it's like completely viable. But to start, like you direct a lot more.
Yeah, really, any method of input works. It's just each one of them has like their weaknesses. Basically, the thing about like controllers is you have like less inputs, especially when you play analog. You can get like misdirected dashes, but obviously that's just like more like the player's fault usually. Like just accidents can happen, you know. Like players are expected to make some mistakes in the run. It's a 27, 28 minute run for at this level.
I mean, 32 minutes here, which
yeah,
is more like relevant.
Yeah, it's more relevant. And as for a keyboard, the only thing you lack is like the consistency of like feathers, and I guess for some people it's just more comfortable. So really, controller or keyboard choice is player preference, and there are 6 players that use in the top 10 of the leaderboards that use controller, and 4 that use keyboard currently. So it really doesn't matter what you choose.
And one use analog just for the information.
Yes, our boy Comet.
Oh wait, no, 2 actually. Evans fight 2.
Wait, who else?
Evans fight.
Oh, Evan.
Yeah. So now we. Bro. So yeah, now we're entering Badlin fight, and I missed the trick, which was just like an hyper BO from the killing block, which we haven't said yet, but another type of moving block which activates when you dash into a side. I could have reached like Badlin with one jump if I timed it well, but I didn't. And now we're yeah.
The way that trick worked, it was like you get like multiplied speed by hypering off the moving block, because that's how momentum works in this game. You get extra speed from jumping. You get, and once you bunny hop off the block again, you're basically doubling the speed you got off the block, which is already moving at an extremely fast speed, and that's the reason that works. That trick in itself is not too bad. I think it's like a 3-frame like hyper bunny hop, which most people can hit. It might be. I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4, but like
I don't know.
It is pretty lenient.
I've always got it inside run it. I mean, pretty much every time. So it's not really hard to do. Really, you just like have to wait for a certain cue and you just go. Oh, okay, another nice backup, and another one just after, but that was Loki. But yeah, now we're just fighting Badlin because she's mad at us. For some reason, it's just Badlin. She's always mad at us.
I mean, that's just more of a story element. So
yeah,
for those who haven't played, simply like Madeline thinks that she needs to get rid of Badlin in a sense that
unfortunate frame perfectly.
Oh my god. In the sense that basically she doesn't need the bad part, or like she thinks of Badlin as the bad part of her, and at this point into rock bottom she comes to accept it, like in terms of like trying to not really, you know, push Badlin away, instead like trying to work with her. And Badlin hasn't understood this yet, and towards the end of rock bottom there is a cutscene that obviously skun skips all cutscenes, and as a speedrunner should, but
yes.
It is the reason why Madeline ends up being able to get 2 dashes at the end of this chapter and into the summit. Basically, Madeline and Madeline just they join forces and they're able to Madeline just gains the double dash property towards the end.
Speaking of skip cutscene, we haven't said it, but you can skip all cutscenes in this game, which is really convenient because I think like it's at 20 minutes, even if you mash really fast through cutscenes. Because you run. So, well,
Yeah.
that's a lot of time.
Speaking of skipping cutscenes, I'm trying to get a meme route going where you do any percent, but you don't skip any cutscenes.
Yeah, so I think it
there was
exists.
a route, like that. It was called pauseless when there was like the debate over if pause buffering should be allowed, and that had to go through all the cutscenes because you couldn't skip them. Really interesting.
I think it's on the unofficial category extension shit. I'll check that later. But yeah, it's really long to do. So hopefully the devs just added like a skip cutscene button. I know we're in. Yeah.
When I did dialogue percent, that's what I called it. But my any percent normally is like a 46. My dialogue percent was like a 120 or 130. So
Yeah, really long.
Yeah, it really adds a bit of time.
I don't even think Postgres is really optimized. They're not even playing on like fastest language, I guess. But who cares? It's really like a meme category that no one should optimize, please.
Yeah, please don't.
And now we're just we're in Summit. So we're just
The
gonna
story's really good.
yeah, but not in speedrun. What? Okay. I just pressed the button that puts me on the Windows main menu.
Oh, you hate to see it.
I don't even know what I pressed. Fuck, I know I'm joking. But yeah, now we're in Summit, so we're just gonna revisit basically all chapter with all the mechanics, except Reflection that we just saw because it was well, 0 meter, and there wasn't like any Kevin or any bumpers or feather, it was just learning how to move around with your 2 dashes.
Yes, and basically, like during Reflection, at the beginning, Madeline just falls all the way back down from what she's climbed, and at the end of Reflection, Madeline gains a double dash, and here, like the point of Summit is to basically the reclimb back up, the rebound, and this is why we go through practically every single chapter more or less, like in a sense, since all the checkpoints are themed around each.
Yeah,
They're more like throwbacks anyway.
it's a really good chapter to play, honestly. Even if it's like the longest one in 80%, which is basically a third of the run alone. But it's cool. It doesn't matter. And here, if you remember in chapter 2 we talked about Dream Hypers, which is basically what I'm doing right now out of the Dream Block. Oops. And I failed. Because here it's really more convenient to do, because if you do a Dream Hyper, you don't have any dash. You use a dash, and here since we have 2, like we can still dash afterward, while in outside if you do Dream Hypers, you just pretty much fucked everywhere.
Yeah, you basically just lose your dash if you only have one, but since you have 2, it makes this a lot faster.
In outside there's like really one spot where it's useful.
Yeah, pretty much.
And here we're back in. Oh my god, I keep pressing my Windows key. It never happened. Well, slow cycle, I guess. Yeah, now we're back in 1.5 years, so a lot of cycles. But this time with 2 dashes. Damn it.
Yes, and for most people around the, really just having a time that is more than maybe like 35 minutes, like 1.5k, this segment is the bane of their existence. Because people still haven't, like, at that level, people still haven't, like, learned all the cycles for these rooms yet, or the death cycles, and sometimes they can just get stuck in a room for quite a while, and I would say like the checkpoint isn't as bad when you learn all the cycles, and the higher up you go in terms of like the ranks or like the better time you get, like the problems start becoming more around like 2K, 2.5K, and 3,000 meters.
Yeah, and there's still people that have like 28 but they don't turn the fast cycle for some reason. Hate these guys.
Kind of unfortunate.
Gonna back into 0.5K, 2K for Reach, which has obviously snowballs for like one sprint. I don't know why, so I didn't want to like annoy us too much. Same for wind, so it's gonna be like only one spin with wind. Oh wait, actually two with the last one. But
I mean, yeah, there's a couple of screens with clouds and moving blocks, so they took most of the mechanics.
Yeah,
If not all, yeah.
and bubbles too, but we don't use it a lot in 2.5, 2K. So. I kind of failed here, but no biggie. So now we're gonna reach the last part that comes to the previous chapter, and then we have finally the real summit part, which we could say.
Yeah.
Up. The note 150.
I want to see a countdown for this last part.
Yeah, but be aware that we don't. If you did the game, you know that there's a lot of flags, but we won't take all of it because it's slow and kind of useless, since most of the flags are pretty safe.
Yeah, so some of the flags are skipped just because they can be, and grabbing them is normally just, as Skun said, slow.
Yeah, it's actually funny because the last part of the game is one of the easiest one. It's just like usually hard because you're on pace and you have nerves, but if you just do it like on its own, it's really easy to do it for some reason. Like say, it's just like spikes and maneuvering around them well, smartly. As you see.
Now Skun is coming into the room with Thread the Needle, at least on my screen. I probably Skun already passed it.
Yeah, I'm on the last screen.
Hey. But you know, gets it first try, you'd love to see it.
And I did a skill that's called the door skip afterward, where it's just like demo dash under the spikes, which takes a second instead of hitting the button. According to a lot of people, that I think it takes like more like 2 seconds because it's kind of slow to take the button.
It saves 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
It's 9 years, but okay.
Big time save.
And well, no, we're in
To go for it.
2.5K to 3K, I mean, which isn't tied to any chapter, it's just a meta in its own. So we don't have a lot of room, we only have 5 actually. But instead of having rooms, we have like, as you can see, flags that are like checkpoints. If you die, you come back to them. But I just try to not die and be good at these game problems.
Also, this is the first time where wind is used like in a vertical manner, and especially the downwind section is usually hard for most new players because obviously less jump distance or less jump time means they have less time to adjust. But at this level, I would argue like the more annoying part is usually upwind because it's very hard to like greet all that you can during that segment, and it's also very easy to die on some of the longer flags, such as flag 13 or 14.
Oh yeah, 14. I mean, not 14. 14 is alright. 13 is a bit dumb sometimes. But should be alright.
14 is hard if you do the right dash. That I mean, I do it, and I think I've seen Marlon do it. I don't know if like there's probably other people that do it, but probably Zcad.
Yeah. I don't know, like it's more like try to not greed when you get the coin, which is what kills people a lot of the time. Here I skipped flag 10 because it's I don't know, a few frames faster than just getting it. Since you just need your dash back, you don't need to go as far as getting the flag. And same for flag 8, where you can just go left as directly instead of like getting your dash back right.
Yep.
And we are on tactics, which is just one screen with pizzas. And now we're in the last section of the game, which is called no draft because there's no win. And it's just gonna be like a lot of pizzas and movement at the end of the game. And it should be
and hopefully we'll see some flag 1 shenanigans.
I don't know what
You know,
it's called, the shenanigans.
You know, the flag 1 deaths are the best.
No.
Especially flag 1 skip
No death, please.
flag 1 skip shadows to Marky.
Sorry, but I oh no, I did. Shut up. You cursed me. Could still be a sub 31. By you, but it is. So time now, and it's 30:59.494.
I think that's actually that should be a 29:59 because skun did what's called man drop for Bub's drop. People pause buffer that, and skun does it without pause buffering, which saves a 0.25 like per pause, or like loses 0.25 per pause. But since skun's saving all that big time, we call it man drop. It's a very very fun joke between us, and the other variation of it, pausing, we call it a cringe drop. So
yeah, which is actually fun because Verdal here does all of the chat strat except box drop, and I do all the baby strats except box drop on my side. It's really dumb.
yes, we love the cringe drop.
And since we have a bit of time, I guess we can show Pass Awake, which we speak about earlier.
We actually are behind on Marathon, but I would love to see as much as I can about this game.
Well, it's like 15 seconds long if you have time. So basically, I'm just playing a task right now, it's not me playing. But what I did is called the delayed ultra, so I cancel my dash, which gives me the 1.2 speed next time I touch the ground, so when I BO. And after that, it's just like a lot of chrono boost and ultra to speed through all the section because, well, we have a lot of room to do it. And it saves 3-4 seconds over what I did in my run, so it's a lot, but it's a lot harder than it seems. I mean, it seems hard, but it's really hard to get the right combination. And yeah,
Right.
that was a Celeste any percent. Hope you liked it.
Yeah, no, I love this game. I used to speedrun this game myself, as I was saying in chat. I kind of retired from it because to try and get to the level that you're at would just take so many hours of practice for me that I can't even begin to even touch it.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate you coming by and showing it off. I really wanted this run in the marathon, so thank you so much for applying and making that happen.
Well, you're welcome. But yeah,
But otherwise, is there anything else that you guys want to quickly say before we transition out?
One thing, no sub 30. Skun kind of cringe.
also baby strat's good, don't do a hard strat, just don't die and you'll save a lot of time in this game. Believe it or not.
Play Super Dash.
No, don't.
Don't.
Don't please.
All right. With that, we're going to cut off, and thank you so much. It'll be a little bit of a dead air here while we transition.
Alright.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Thank you.